Hello, English 201 class. We're in Unit 5 of 7 units. What does that mean? Oh, the end is coming fast. And if you're still here by now, that's probably a good sign. That means you've negotiated the trials. There is a podcast that I did a few years ago for this unit that introduces the rhetorical theory. So I won't touch on any of that. I wanted to make some supplemental comments and remarks. Calling attention for one thing that I think the podcast neglects. Notice the Unit 5, the criteria for evaluation for this particular assignment. Reading the criteria for evaluation should be one of the first things that you do as you plan the essay, because you're reading the standards against which the essay itself is going to measure. So that should, knowing what those standards are in advance, should enable you to plan and put together the piece so that you're meeting those criteria. And of course, also what goes hand in hand with that process is reading the chapter from the Long-Wind Reader that covers the topic for the unit. So the Unit 5 criteria for evaluation, make sure you print that document out, or at least open it up and read it and save it so you can refer to it as you work on your essay for Unit 5. One other point, in a class like this, which really and truly is learner-centered, the writing workshop, which is the basic technique or method that I use in this class, is a student-centered process. The teacher is involved, but not standing in front of the class, lecturing, pontificating, telling exactly what to do. The teacher in this class is more of a facilitator, a coach, a cheerleader, an encourager. So I take part in the peer review and response process, much like the other classmates in the class. But another feature of this type of class, as the class moves toward completion, the teacher's job actually gets easier and easier because you've been trained now, you've been experienced in the methods, the processes, the procedures. So it becomes a process of more of you and less of me. And I don't say that because I'm all of a sudden feel this chance to abandon my responsibility. And it's not that I'm off the hook at all as far as the job of teaching the class. But I do want you to realize in the last few units, in the peer review and response, I'll be looking for y'all to shoulder more of a responsibility there. I'll be looking for y'all to do a better job of responding because you've had the entire semester to practice at it. You've also seen the types of responses that I provide for you and for your other classmates. And those are models of the types of things that you should notice. You should get a glimpse of, or clues about what I look at when I read a draft. And a lot of times it's different from what the students look at, because especially in the beginning of the semester, the students tend to look for errors. That's pretty much it's just errors. Nobody's calling attention to the fact, though, that it may be a thesis statement this week. Maybe a student doesn't have good organization. Maybe there's something illogical content in a paragraph that keeps the paragraph from having unity. Those are the types of deeper, below the surface features of the writing that I'm hoping that y'all are catching on to. And when you read one another's drafts, you're looking, first of all, to see how well the student has followed the directions for the assignment and how well the student has applied the rhetorical theory for that particular lesson. So I'm going to ask y'all to really, in Unit 5, be more conscientious of that part of peer review and response. Don't just look for comma errors and misspelled words and suggesting how to reword a sentence. Look for deep things beneath the surface that have to do with thesis, that have to do with unity, that have to do with movement and transition, and try to help one another along those lines. At the same time, I'm not backing out, but I am going to back up some. I'm going to put y'all more and more in charge of that. For sure, early on for the rough draft deadlines, I'm going to give you all the usual response. But after I've given you a response to your first draft, I'm going to let y'all see if y'all can sail through on your own a little bit more, because that's the way it should be. You've learned the process and the procedures of the class, and you should also be growing and developing as writers, as revisers, as critical readers of your drafts, and that's one of the things that we'll measure. Let's see, I think that's what I wanted to cover, those 3 points. So it's on to Unit 5. I'll be seeing you in the Look What I Wrote forum. If you have questions or comments, by all means, send me an email or give me a phone call. Good luck as you write on.